Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night wondering why he doesn't look at you the way he used to? Why his eyes no longer linger like they once did? Why the spark feels dimmer and the connection that once felt magnetic now feels muted? Why? His texts feel colder, shorter, more like an obligation than a desire, like they were sent from a sense of duty rather than longing, and not like the warmth they once carried, that unmistakable warmth that made you smile without realizing it. Like he's drifting slowly further each day, like he's right there, but emotionally 1,000 miles away, and you can't quite explain it or prove it, and every time you try to bring it up, he deflects or gives a half-hearted response that leaves you even more confused. Maybe you just started dating someone new, and in the beginning, everything felt electric, vibrant, magnetic. Like a dream that finally came true, a connection you thought you'd waited your whole life for, but now you're the one always reaching out, you're the one initiating. You're the one asking questions, planning the meets, sending the thoughtful messages, and he's pulling back slowly, almost imperceptibly, like waves receding from the shore, and you feel like you're walking on emotional eggshells, like you're one word away from losing everything you thought was real, afraid that any moment he'll disappear, like he was never there, like a ghost who once whispered love, but now leaves silence instead, like someone who once made promises but now doesn't even text back on time, if at all, and it makes you question your worth, your beauty, your intuition, your strength, and your sense of reality. If that sounds familiar, then this video is for you, because today, I'm going to show you 5 deeply powerful feminine shifts that don't just get a man's attention. They make him worship your presence, crave your energy, and genuinely prioritize you from a place of real heart, not out of fear, not out of manipulation, not out of ego or obligation, but out of love-conscious devotion and admiration, the kind of love that stands the test of time. The kind of devotion that does not need to be chased, but is offered freely and joyfully. And the most beautiful part is that you don't have to chase, you don't have to beg, you don't have to become someone else or perform a role that exhausts your spirit or drains your light. You simply become the version of yourself that naturally awakens his devotion, the version of you that remembers she was always the prize the moment she stopped forgetting who she was and remembered the truth she buried under years of people-pleasing, overgiving, and emotional self-abandonment. So stay with me till the end, because every step builds on the next, and by the end, you'll understand why your softness, your standards, and your silence can sometimes speak louder than any words ever could, and why your presence, when rooted in power, becomes unforgettable when you are embodied in your worth. There is no need to demand attention, because your very existence becomes magnetic. It becomes an experience, not an obligation. Step 1. Fall madly, deeply, boldly in love with yourself in a way that is sacred, untouchable, and undeniable. Because before he can worship you, you have to stop abandoning yourself to love him. And I know you've heard the term self-love so many times it almost feels like a cliche, like a pretty Instagram quote or a hashtag on a journal cover. But today, I want you to understand it on a soul-deep level, because self-love is not a spa day, it is not a scented candle or a skincare routine. Though those things can be beautiful too and can be rituals of self-care, self-love is a spiritual decision. It's a radical commitment. It's waking up and saying, I will no longer betray my heart just to keep someone in my life, even if I miss them, even if it hurts, even if walking away means walking into the unknown, even if it means sitting with the discomfort of being alone rather than feeling unseen in a room with someone else. It's sitting with your journal in the quiet of the morning, when no one is watching, and writing not about what he feels but what you feel, not asking what he wants but asking, what do I want? What is my truth? What is my body telling me? What am I really afraid of? And it's checking in with your own nervous system and asking yourself, do I feel safe here? Do I feel seen? Am I expanding in this connection or shrinking to be chosen? Am I making space for my own joy, for my own peace, for my own dreams? Or have I forgotten how to breathe without checking my phone? Because here's the truth. The more you prioritize your inner peace, the more a man will feel drawn to your presence, not because you're trying, but because your energy is magnetic and clean. Because men don't worship needy energy, they worship wholeness. They crave mystery, not chaos, and they feel pulled toward a woman who is rooted, not reactive, who is grounded, not grasping, because her energy makes him feel safe, inspired, and awakened. So start there. Be your own best friend, your own healer, your own source. Write love letters to your future self. Take walks alone and feel your own breath. Touch the pulse of your own life. Make your presence sacred. And most of all, never forget that the relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for every relationship that follows. Because the way you love you is the blueprint for how others will love you too. The way you talk to yourself becomes the voice others echo back to you. The way you value your time teaches others how to treat it. Step 2. Be the woman whose life is so rich, he wants to earn a place in it, not because you made him prove himself through games or manipulation, but because your life is already vibrant with meaning, with joy, with purpose. Pause for a second and ask yourself, what does your day look like when you're not thinking about him? What are the colors in your world? What lights you up? What makes your eyes sparkle when no one is watching? What have you forgotten that once made your soul dance? What creative urges have you ignored? What little passions have been put on the shelf? This is where magnetic women live in the world of their own radiant life. They don't just talk about high standards, they embody them, they live them, they breathe them, they protect them with grace and consistency. High-value women don't just demand respect, they radiate self. In the way they walk, talk, take care of themselves, and protect their energy. And this isn't about being busy to look impressive. It's about being full, being nourished from within, being connected to your own source. So here's what I want you to do: build a life that excites you, with or without him. Reconnect with your friends, the ones who remind you of your magic. The ones who knew you before the heartbreak. Take that class you've been putting off, the one your heart whispered about months ago. Wear perfume just for yourself. Cook a beautiful meal even if no one else is coming over. Turn your room into a sacred, peaceful sanctuary that reflects your highest self. Speak to yourself with softness and strength, like a queen who remembers her crown, because when a man sees that your joy doesn't depend on him, when he feels that your happiness is not for sale, he feels something rare, and that something is respect. And that respect becomes desire, and that desire becomes devotion, and that devotion becomes love, because suddenly you're not chasing love. You are love. You're not begging to be chosen. You are choosing yourself. And that energy is intoxicating because it's real, and men feel that difference instantly, even if they can't explain it. Step 3, stop texting first and start creating space for him to miss you now. This part will feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you have a generous heart, especially if connection is your default, especially if you're nervous. System equates silence with rejection, especially if your childhood taught you that love must be earned through effort. But feminine power doesn't come from chasing, it comes from receiving, from allowing, from trusting, from surrendering to your value instead of proving it. So here's the truth: men value what they work for, and when you always initiate, you unknowingly rob him of the very tension, the very longing, the very masculine pursuit that builds true desire, the kind of desire that grows not just in presence but in absence. So I want you to try this for a week. Let him come to you. Don't text first. Don't double text. Don't explain yourself or overgive. Let your silence be soft, not spiteful. Let your absence become a mirror where he can feel your value and realize your worth. And if he reaches out, take your time to respond, not to play games, but to show him that your world is full and he is a guest, not the center of it. And that small shift, that single act of restraint, it rewires the entire dynamic. It teaches him something profound. This woman is not desperate. She has options. She is the prize, and that will wake him up in ways your words never could, because your silence carries weight, because your energy is no longer seeking, it is receiving. And when a man senses that shift, his whole relationship with you changes. Step 4, stop asking for reassurance. Let your energy speak for you. How do you feel about me? Do you still love me? Are we okay? Sound familiar? I know these questions come from a place of vulnerability, from a deep longing to feel seen and safe and understood. But here's the hard truth: constantly needing reassurance actually pushes love away, because it tells him your value is still being negotiated, still being questioned, still on trial. But the most magnetic women already know their worth. They don't need constant confirmation to feel secure. They become their own safety, their own anchor, their own validation. So here's the shift. Instead of asking how he feels, pay attention to how you feel when you are around him. Do you feel anxious, confused, or drained? Do you feel like you're walking on eggshells or blooming into your full self? Do you feel like you're losing your voice or finding it again? Don't silence that, because your body never lies. And remember this powerful rule: when you believe you are the prize, you act like it. You don't beg, you don't chase, you don't shrink. You radiate, you trust, and you walk away when respect is missing, not because you don't care, but because you care too much to abandon yourself. And that's how you become unforgettable, not by forcing someone to love you, but by loving yourself so deeply that only the right people can stay.